So I'm now with David Gates from Season of Arrows, the band, the stoner doom metal band, and we are now set to talk about. We have a little time to talk about the band, the history of the band, how did all came together, and how was the recording process. So thank you for your time, Mr. David. And,
yeah, hey everybody.
We really appreciate your time with us today to do this interview.
We appreciate your time too.
Thanks.
You help us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we're just doing our job, man. So let's get into it. Season of Arrows have just released the new album, Let It to the Mountain. Give It to the Mountain, sorry. It was a really pure stoner doom metal record. It's really a magnificent record for a really not a very big mainstream band or something like that. It was really professional. It was recorded in a professional way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Me as a listener, I really enjoyed it. It has a lot of great elements in it. So can you please give us a short history or a short brief about the band's history? How did you guys came along together? How did the band come along together? And how did you all meet up to make this band as a unit?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, everything is great.
Alright, sorry I'm kind of getting over a cold, so my voice is a little cloudy, but
yeah,
really one thing about Season of Arrows is we were friends and family first. So, me and the other guitar player, Brandon, we played in a metal hardcore band called Fall With Me back in 1998. We started it. We ended up opening for Mastodon, playing with Zayo, all of these like little festivals, small ones, probably hundreds of shows. And that's how we built that chemistry musically. And eventually, our drummer, we had to find another drummer, and it turned out to be Brad, who's our drummer now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known Brad since I was about 17, so it's been a little while. And I've known Stormy, probably our singer, since I was, probably 15 or so. And Sean, our bass player, is Brandon's cousin. So everyone's kind of already like hanging out and being silly and goofy, and there's not a lot of like stress or pressure, you know, we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a common bond, which is our music.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We kind of have like, we try not to really set like any goal, like, hey, we want to write a doom record. We just like, man, this is what I'm feeling. This is some riffs that I have. These are some ideas. What do you think about them? Let's take them. We have a 16-track that we have in our house where we practice, and we go and we track everything. And we put it through a fine-tooth comb, and we listen to every nuance. And we're like, oh, that little lead thing, that needs to go 2 frets lower. Or we need to build on that and make it, that part's kind of boring. What can we do to spice that up, you know? So really, we've just always had that chemistry, and I've been playing off and on with the drummer Brad in various bands, playing shows all over the Southeast for years, probably 15 years. So I think it just kind of sort of fell into place. As far as, it's really cool what you said about the professionalism in the quality of the recording. We went with Mikey Allred, who's a guy here in Nashville, and he's recorded Inter Arma's record on Relapse. He's done a couple. He did the other Inter Arma record as well. He's done All Them Witches is a band from here. It's getting kind of a lot of press. He's recorded their record. There's a phenomenal band called Yautija.
Yeah.
And he recorded both of their albums. He's just got that ear, you know. He's just, some people have it and some people don't. And there's a lot of great places, and yeah, we're in Nashville, Music City, but we wanted somebody that would like help us paint that picture. We gave him our vision. We're like, this is what we want. We don't want it to really sound like anybody else. It just has to be powerful and daunting, and we want to play. We want to have creativity here. We want it to be, doesn't need to be so confined.
Mm-hmm.
And man, he's just got that ear, you know, and we just kind of went with it, and we did our first record with him, and it was a great success. We learned a lot. We had some great success from that first record. I think as a band we've grown and we've become a little more focused and honed in our actual sound and the powers that we wanted in those riffs and things like that. And I think that he helped us elevate that to another level. So I was really excited to use him for the second record as well.
Great. So record and the family part about making this whole band together. I want to ask, how did you guys choose the name of your band? I mean, what does a Season of Arrows refer to as a unit, as a family, as a, let me say, as a childhood maybe friends, or you know, high school friends or something like that? How did you choose the name of the band?
Yeah, that's a good question too. You know, I wish we had a real good answer. We had a list of we wanted a name that sounded powerful, right? Like we all play, like me and the other guitar player play Elder Scrolls Online, you know, we watch Game of Thrones or whatever, and we wanted something that just sounded like, when you said it, like, hey, I kind of want to hear what they sound like. That just sounds daunting and powerful, and it kind of doesn't sound like your typical band name, per se. And we had a couple different names. One of them was Lords of December, was something that we tossed around. There were a couple others. I'm trying to think. Teeth of the Bear, 1,000 Collapsing Bridges, Master of the Hive. We had a bunch of these, right? It's a list, and we kind of just, hey, here's a bunch of lists. Let's vote about it. Let's wait a couple of days, you know, because you never get a name the first way.
Yeah.
So then we waited a couple of days. We're like, you still liking that one the most? And we're like, yeah, I'm still liking it. Give me another week. It's like a tattoo. You want to plan it out, right? So after a while, we're like, yeah, man, it just kind of fits. And then, you know, there's also the metaphorical thing, like there's stages in life. We all go through these drastic changes, good or bad. And you kind of look at that as like seasons, how they constantly change. And fall is one of my favorite seasons, as well as Brandon, the guitar player. When we were in fall with me, so there's a little bit of relationship there, I guess, you know. But really, we just wanted something that sounded powerful that wasn't taken. When we started looking for band names, like anything with owl or anything was just already taken.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's just come up with something really, I've never seen it before. So that's pretty much it.
It sounds really cool. I mean, Season of Arrows sounds really heavy and mysterious.
Yeah, exactly.
Story behind it. Another question I would like to ask is, so the band is basically a stoner doom, or let me just call it a doom metal, heavy metal band. Every band, every musician has an influential artist or another guitarist or another band who looks up to, or who find him as a influence. So who were your biggest influence as a musician? Sorry.
Yeah, that's this is where it gets really interesting. So you know, being in a band is like basically being in a relationship with other people, right? So you got to compromise and you got to figure things out, and we're not all cut from the same cloth exactly. So for me, one of my biggest influences was Buzz Osborne of the Melvins, Matt Pike, Asleep, High on Fire, Aaron Turner of ISIS was a huge influence of mine, still is. I think he still writes some of the best riffs ever in heavy music. Now he's in Sumac or whatever. It's amazing. Brandon, he grew up, listening to Melvins, probably Jesus Lizard. He really liked Jesus Lizard a lot. Loves Jimmy Page, you know, huge Zeppelin fans. Obviously Tony Iommi for both of us. Huge Sabbath fans, but that's kind of a given. Our bass player, he's really into Mars Volta, At the Drive-In, Glassjaw, Dillinger Escape Plan, a little more progressive, a little more complex type stuff. I think some of his influences, obviously Les Claypool was, you know, a monster. And that Flea, obviously, was really a big one. Stormy, our singer, she doesn't really listen to heavy music. So, she likes old-timey music a lot, like Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald. She likes Old Faith No More and Old Failure, Tool. But she likes some like R&B stuff and like Aretha Franklin. Like she got like a huge vast thing. And our drummer, he loves like really. Let's see. Lately, he's been listening to like Hanoi Rocks and kind of like that early '80s glam.
Mm-hmm.
He loves that kind of stuff. I mean, when we grew up, he listened to Motley Crue and Skid Row and all the metal bands that were big. And we used to sit there and just wait for Headbangers Ball to come on together, try to figure out that prong riff in the middle,
It's really interesting talking about the front woman of your band. I mean, it's rarely to see. It's really rare to see a front lady for a doom metal band without a growler in the background. So I think it was a challenge for you guys. Or how was it the process of this choice?
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with what we listen to. Like, personally, I think that there's still, maybe one day, if everybody was on board, there would be a window of opportunity where we could introduce that and see if it worked or not. I obviously listen to a lot more screamy shit than the rest of the people. So, I grew up listening to a lot of 90s hardcore and grindcore and crust punk and death metal, like, at the gates. When I first heard that, I was like, oh my God, the guitar work is amazing. Slaughter of the Soul is still to this day just mind-blowing to me. Hypocrisy, those kind of bands that just have Amon Amarth, they just have this level of precision and just, oh man, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. About or talking about the influences and talking about the choices that you made about making this band a whole. I would love to ask you, how is the songwriting process in the band itself? I mean, how do you guys write your songs? Which is first? Which instruments is before the other? When do you guys write your lyrics, before or after the music? This whole process of the songwriting process itself. Would you please describe it?
Yeah, really, it starts out. It takes all of us to make it a Season of Arrow song, but sometimes we'll start out with someone's idea. And it's usually a riff or a couple of riffs put together. Sometimes it's like, hey, I got 4 riffs. They kind of all fit together. I'm not sure how long we should play these, and we should halftime this, but I'm just going to play you my idea, see what you guys think, and let's talk about it. You got to be real open to, like, hey, let's try this, or why don't we take one note out because that's off time, or, and at the end of the day, no matter how great the riffs are and the music is, if it doesn't work with Stormy's voice, then we can't use it, right?
Yeah.
And there have been a couple of things where we've gone up across it where we're like, man, that's just gnarly and fast, and you just want some, like, crazy, like, screaming all over it. But when someone doesn't do that, and it doesn't sound right, and we're like, that's just not really going to work in this band.
Yeah.
So, it's a lot of times, we succeed, but every now and then we'll back up against the wall and be like, I think that's just too crazy. So we have to, like, tone it back and be like, well, how can we make it fit? And then we usually start with the riff and then try to see the test right there. If she can come up with a melody. Between her and Brandon write the lyrics together, and they kind of try to see if they can write a melody to go along with it. And then the beat and stuff just comes. I mean, Brad's just got that natural, like, whatever I have in my head when I'm writing a riff, I try to put stuff together and send him over and email stuff if he's not here and be like, don't the drum machine's just there to kind of have this God flesh feel, but just want you to know what I'm thinking about, right?
Yeah.
So, and he just gets it. And then Sean's one of those guys, he can just pick up the bass and play anything. It's crazy. He's just, as far as, like, what would fit, we wanted.
He did a great job on this record. He did a really heavy bass line on this album. I really
we talked to him about that when he joined the band. We're like, look, we don't want just a bass player who can play the notes, because like I can play bass, Brandon can play bass, we can borrow somebody's bass. We want someone that can take what we have and then build on it and build from those notes. I don't want some guy like soloing, you know. We don't need like Stu Hom or anything, but we want someone that's, you know, like Colt Luna's bass player, or one of the other biggest influences I haven't mentioned yet for me personally is Neurosis. You know, since I very first heard them to this day, the new record, they just floor me on how they just completely just come up with creative energy, and even if it's heavy or mellow, it's real. And that's always a big thing for me. And their bass player is not phenomenal, but man, he writes stuff that goes with what the guitars are doing in Neurosis, and that's always just been a real important thing for me, is for the bass player to help fill out that empty space. You know what I mean?
Great band, man.
Yeah.
They were. But we are not here to talk about them. They are already famous.
They are already famous, yes.
Talking about influences, talking about great bands or bands that we love or we are influenced by. I would love to ask you, who do you think that you like sound like? Which band do you think that you are closer to their sound as Season of Arrows?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I guess, personally, I don't think that we sound like anybody, but I'm probably biased, you know, so it's tough for me to answer that. I've heard everything from Windhand. We get that because we use the reverb washed with the vocals, and we have the tuned down guitars, and Brandon and I are both playing Oranges, you know, and it's just, we just like that warm, heavy, empty tone on the guitars. You know, like what you heard on the Give It to the Mountain, there's no overdubs. That's just straight up our rocker verbs. We EQ them separately so we can get that tonal clarity that we want, especially if we're doing like harmonies together. So you can get like that pallbearer yob thing where you can hear both the notes really cleanly. We worked on that a lot to try to make sure you can still get it heavy, but you can hear what those notes are.
Yeah, and you don't get really confused with what you are hearing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, so I don't really know what we sound like. I mean, I guess we sound like, I mean, we've been called a doom band, so I guess we're doom. But I mean, we've all played in metal and rock bands, and I mean, my collection goes from like Sade to Slayer, right? So it just depends on what mood I'm in. I like them both a lot.
Of course, because they could be from anywhere, you know. But the final cut, the final, you know, master, or the mastering, the final master of the song decides which subgenre or genre does this song or band flows into or flips out, you know?
Yeah, and I would say that Doom would be where our newer record was. You know, we had an interview a couple weeks ago, and they were like, so why did you choose Doom? And I was like, well, I don't think we really chose Doom. We wrote, We Come From the Wilderness, and or From the Wilderness We Return. And we wrote that song first after the self-titled record. And that sort of set the tone on where we thought we could go with the record. So, you know, once you start putting those songs together, you know, 3 or 4, you know, I do design for a living, so I'm really into, like, behaviors and patterns and all kinds of, like, humanistic qualities that deal with design, organization, category, stuff like that. Yeah. So I want to do things that kind of fit and make sense. So that's why we put that song Bellow towards the end of our record. We felt like the record was heavy, you know, and brooding, but it kind of needed a moment to breathe before that last song. We would put it on there. So, yeah, it's really kind of hard to say who we sound like. People at my work, you know, ask me, I'm like, well, it's not radio friendly, and we're okay with that. I was like, it's got, you know, a heavy Sabbathy feel. There's definitely some bluesy overtones to what we do. But I think it's something that's just real, you know, and if people makes them feel a certain way and they can identify with it, then that's great. So we really don't really get into what our songs are about, per se. We just let people decide, you know, interpret them however they like. We're not one of those guys that goes out there and has like a huge PC message or anything like that. We're just like, man, this is something we do. This is a ritualistic kind of thing that we do, and it's how we release our stress and passions and pressures throughout life. And we're just fortunate enough to have that ability, you know?
Yeah. Talking about your music and about your influences and about your songwriting process, let me ask you this. I mean, a lot of fans would be fans because of the lyrics or because of the text itself, because of the content of the music. So what are you guys, in your lyrics, in your songs, what are you guys talking about exactly, or what are the some of the subjects that you are taking to talk about in your music, in your songs?
You know, like I said, I don't write the lyrics, so I'm probably not the best to answer that, but, you know, just a brief, short summary.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's dealing with, you know, sometimes in life you just have to deal with what you're dealt with. And a lot of times you have to kind of make the best of a shitty situation. And life can be really challenging at times, but, you know, you still need to have that hope.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're with the right people and you keep your beliefs, you know, the way you want to believe, then really things are probably going to work out okay. You know, that song Deep Graves is about back when there were rulers and gods and cities were devastated and destroyed by the abuse of power. You know, things like that. We just, we don't have a song like, hey, this one's about politics or this one's about love. This is about, you know, a lot of those things just sort of, you know, they're usually about the darker side of life, depression, understanding a grasp of reality and where we kind of are in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, just kind of talks about some of the darker things in life.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I feel you, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
About war we are living in now. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I have to apologize one more time about my English, because I have already said that I mix some, you know, German into the English I speak. So I am sorry for the mistakes I may have done during this conversation. I'm really sorry, man.
Oh no, not at all. It's not bad at all. Trust me.
I've
talked to people that are German that don't have English half as clean as you. So.
I would love to ask you another question.
Sure.
If you, I believe that you have performed live before, right?
Yes.
I'd like to ask you about some live experiences that you have had, and some of the memories that you can recall right now. Would you tell me about some of those experiences?
Yeah, you mean just as in Seasons of Arrows?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just not too long ago we played with Jucifer.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of them?
Yeah, I heard of them.
And we played at a really nice venue here that we've been trying to get a show at for quite some time called Exit In.
Yeah, I know it.
Like when Converge comes here, that's where they play. And, you know, High on Fire, that's where they'll go play. It's usually 700 plus people, 500, somewhere around there. It's a nicer club. Mm-hmm. So it's hard just to get, for them to book us on a Friday, you know, because a lot of nationals come in. I saw Carcass play there. That blew my mind. I finally got to see them. They were really great. Obituary opened up, which was cool too. But we played there, Exit In with Jucifer, and that was pretty cool. And we played first, but Jucifer sets up all that giant like wall of amplifiers.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of set up in front of that, and there's like a picture on our Instagram and our Facebook and stuff where you see us playing with like these just giant wall of amps behind us. And that was pretty cool. Jucifer came up to us. They were really nice. We played with Windhand off their, not this newest record, but the other one, the first one. That was about a year ago at a cool club here called The End. They were really, really cool. I think that it was a great show for us at that point because I feel that the audience people that really dig Windhand could probably find some elements of Season of Arrows that they can identify with that they would like. I don't think that we sound like Windhand, but I feel like that the people in the audience might like both bands. More so than us playing with a 311 cover band. Or, you know what I mean? Or something like...
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was really cool. We played with this band called Neon Warship. Guitar player is also in Mouth of the Architect. And they're kind of like ISIS type stuff. And Neon Warship is like, so good. They're just sort of like where the Sword was on their first record, but they have the clean, high vocals over all of that. We played with them at this little club called Springwater, and they were so good that when they finished, I forgot that we had to go load our stuff. I forgot we played. I was just like, man, they were awesome. Yeah, we played with ASG was another really good band we played with, and you know, we got plenty more. We got Maryland Doom Fest. We played that 2 years ago. That was really cool. It was weird. We sort of played first, I think, on the second day. So the slot we got was a little tough. So when we got there, they were still setting stuff up. And we had to leave because it was so far. It's like Fredericksburg, Maryland. So it's like really far from Nashville. So, but it was a cool experience to meet some people and sell some merch. I wish we could have stayed. Real excited that we're playing the Doomed and Stone Fest in Indianapolis. That's going to be awesome with some big bands like Wofat's on there. I'm trying to think of all of them. There's like Book of Worms. There's going to be some really killer bands on there. There's another local band here that's really good called Black Tar Prophet. And it's just bass and drums, and it's really slow. Mikey Allred just recorded their record, and they're going to be going on tour. Their first day of their tour is that festival. So, you know, there's a lot of shows we've played in and out in between. I can't think of all of them right now, but really wanted to get this record out. And once we got the record out, we're like, now let's do some shows. Next week, we're going to go back to the next stage of getting our record on vinyl. We've already got the plates made, but now we've got to give them more money so they can go ahead and get the records made and get the jackets and the artwork approved. So hopefully we'll have Give It to the Mountain on vinyl in like 3 months, hopefully 2 or 3 months. And that's something that we're doing ourselves because it's just important to us. And, yeah, that's it. We've been playing a lot of shows, and I'm sure there's more I'm not thinking of right now that were awesome, but I have to look at our Facebook past events and see.
Talking about merchandise and merchandises and talking about the jackets and the vinyl thing. Let me ask you, how did you guys sell your CDs? Your latest CD, the Mountain album.
Yeah, the latest CD. There's a long story there, but the short end of it was we had signed a contract with another label, and then things were not working out so well, just for other reasons beyond our control. And we ended up going in a different direction. And when we signed with Argonauta Records, and when we signed with them, that was part of the deal. They were like, CDs are still really big in Europe, you know, and we're like, okay, that's cool. You know, it's pretty much all digital and vinyl here, but that's awesome. We're stoked to put it on CD as well. And they kind of do their own kind of digipack kind of thing. So that was part of the deal. He actually sent us our first 100 from Italy. I just got like 2 days ago, sitting here in my kitchen. So that's pretty cool. So that's how we got that. Right now we're selling that at all our shows coming up. Our next show is 22nd, so that's like next week. But we'll be selling them in our shows, and then we're selling them online via Argonauta Records website. And Argonauta is based in Genova, Italy, and they've got some pretty awesome bands on their roster, like Suma, Forming the Void, Electric Age. They got some awesome bands.
So what about the labels, the vinyls, and everything else? Who handles your daily business activities?
The vinyl we got to do ourselves, just probably because of budgetary concerns right now. So we're having to kind of pay that all out of pocket. That's why it's also taking a little bit longer. As far as day-to-day business, I mean, you're looking at him. Like, that's kind of what I do. You know, in a band, it's certain people, certain members of certain bands do their own thing to contribute. And that's kind of one thing that I do. I'm pretty good at that. I do all the online stuff. I do the majority of the interviews, not all of them, but a majority of them. And we've been working with Curtis Dewar, and he's been helping us tremendously with some PR work. And we're really excited to work with him. We've been working with him for several months now to try to get this record. And he's been able to get it in the hands of some people, which is really, really important to us.
Let me just ask you one more question. Talking about the business and about the activities and all that. Have you already created a business plan? Like, what is your next move? What is going to be with the band situation right now, as touring, with label, with vinyl, with everything?
You know, yes and no. Like, we haven't like busted out a Gantt chart, you know, and had it week by week. Like, week 2 we're gonna do this, and week 3 we're gonna do this. But I mean, we've looked at like, okay, the record's out now, so you gotta strike while the iron's hot, right?
Yeah.
So we were like, let's get the vinyl rolling. So Monday morning we're gonna call them, make sure the plates are in, and then send them as much money as they need. I think it's $700 or something. We're using Gotta Groove, based in Cleveland, Ohio. They did a good job on our first record. And we've got to do that to get the next stage of that process going. And then we're talking with a couple of people, different artists, perhaps about some merchandise ideas. You know, really it's all about the money. It's just, it's not cheap, you know. When I start looking at how much it costs to get merchandise printed for bands now, it's definitely not cheap. Like, I'm looking at hats, and to get 48 hats is like $480.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And that's going to come out of our pockets, right? And
yeah, I know.
two of us have pretty good jobs, you know. I guess 2 or 3 of us. But you know, it's a very tough kind of thing. So some people can contribute more than others when it comes to finances.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to do what within our means. We can't go out of our bounds. I don't think we're going to go on tour for like 3 months or anything like that. Like, I don't see that happening. Hopefully we could go on like a 2-week run, open it up for somebody pretty big like Torch or something would be amazing. You know, getting to that next level though, that's where the real challenge is, because it's like you got to spend money to make the money to get out there.
Yes, of course.
So we've been approached by a company that really wants to help us in that direction, and they've worked with bands like Pilgrim and a couple other bands, and we're trying to figure out, as a band, as a business, whatever you want to call it, that, you know, how much can we dole out every month, you know, to help us get to the next level. So we've talked about that. I want to have patches. I want to have vinyl. I'd love to have hoodies. They're real expensive, though. I like to have hats. I like to have a couple different shirt designs, stickers, buttons. You know, we'll have CDs. You know, it's just kind of nonstop.
No, I wish you all the best, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So, Mr. David Gates from Season of Arrows, the guitarist of Season of Arrows, I want to thank you so much for your time, for Metalhead Alliance and Metal Amino. Season of Arrows, new CD or new album, Give It to the Mountain, is available everywhere right now as a physical copy and as a digital copy for download as well all over the internet. You can all get your copy from Google Play, from Spotify, from
iTunes,
yeah, and basically all over the internet. Thank you so much, Mr. Dave, for your time, and I hope and I wish that you will reach the next level, that we will see the band Season of Arrows and a lot of other local bands getting a lot of light spot, because you deserve it. a lot of bands really deserve it.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you
Yeah.
for taking the time, for asking the questions and getting to know us, and we appreciate all the support. You know, we just try to be true about who we are and stay real, and we're ready to start writing the next record. So
That's the right thing to do. So thank you again, and see you next time.
all right. See you guys.
Goodbye. Bye.